So, what do I do when I encounter nihilists? Well, I have a hard time with the nihilists. They literally believe that everything that is fanciful and magical and spiritual doesn't really exist. They have a bad habit of being the type of atheist that believes that the whole of everything is worthless and that we shouldn't try and nothing ever matters. And their whole point of view makes me so depressed that if I sit and listen to one for too long, I start to lose the ability to keep a schedule and go to work and do things. It's pretty rough on the psyche. I try not to judge too harshly because the nihilist is simply somebody who has basically lost the spark. They've lost the magic of life, and they've created a type of ideology that I don't know if it allows them to get through the day, but it's so dark that it makes most people for most of us that have a spiritual side and we have a heart and we have empathy, we find nihilists to be the black hole in the room. They walk in and they suck all the life out of everything, and they make you feel bad for enjoying things. It's honestly the reason why the Demiurge is the main villain of the Lavoria Chronicles. It literally is the destroyer of all things, that which wishes to take all of reality and suck it up until it doesn't exist anymore, to obliviate every soul, to crush and destroy everything. But it's more than just that. It's not destruction, it's annihilation. It is an erasure of things. Destruction, there's a cycle to destruction. Destruction can lead to rebirth. The breaking down of the old can lead to a structured new thing. And it's not necessarily a terrible thing. But nihilism is the idea that nothing matters. It's not just the idea of the impermanence of our flesh and our world and our physical forms. It is the true annihilation of existence. And nothing matters. Art doesn't matter. Song doesn't matter. Life doesn't matter. Having children and raising them and making certain that the world carries on in a way that we can still survive doesn't matter, because in 1,000 years it'll have meant nothing. And it's like, you can't live that way. Anytime somebody comes up with a philosophy and they start to tell me about it, when I was younger, I used to really engage with the philosophies, but now that I'm older, my questions are simply things like, does your philosophy bring you peace? Does your ideology allow you to make it through the day? How conducive is your ideology to the rest of society? Does it have room for other people? At this time, in 2003, there are some 8 billion people on the earth, and it makes me wonder if your philosophy and ideology is capable of sharing this world with those 8 billion people. If your philosophy is all about elimination of people and destruction of people and the tearing down of people, then there's no place in my world for you and your ideology. Your ideology is harmful and it needs to be exercised. It needs to be recorded in the big bad book of bad ideas. And then we need to stop following those philosophies. There are also philosophies that are good in theory but terrible in practice. Things like fascism and communism that always sound good when you're just talking about it, but the moment you start to implement them, they turn murderous. And the next thing you know, you're eliminating an entire demographic of the population because they're inconvenient to whatever utopian future you're trying to create. Plus, they tend to have a lot of scapegoats. Our world isn't perfect because this particular group of people that we have drawn a circle around, every single last one of them needs to be destroyed. It's absolutely abhorrent. And it's also extremely arrogant. This idea that I have a philosophy that's so amazing that I can literally commit mass murder and genocide, and somehow that's making the world a better place. It's kind of like people that tell them after they've murdered their children that a spirit or an angel or God told them that there was evil in the child and they needed to destroy it in order to make the world a better place. That's not true. If you have an angel or a spirit and it tells you to commit an act of evil, it's evil. Just because Abraham in the Bible was told to murder his child doesn't mean that's what you need to do. Assume in a situation like that whatever is speaking to you is an agent of evil disguised as an agent of good. It simply wants to create more chaos and death and misery in the world, which is the reason it's telling you to do something so utterly abhorrent that it could not possibly be good. Faith is a thing that is often misunderstood. Part of it is a belief in something we cannot fully quantify, but also it has something to do with the idea that the world will be made better by the actions I take today. I may not be here to see it. I assume that I will be in a different form. And I hope that whatever form I am in the future, once this body has decayed and fallen apart, that I will evolve into something else, something better, something that has a future. For in the end, the future is where we will all end up, one way or another.